Presented by Geico. Here in Boca Raton, Florida, where the Memphis Tigers arrive carrying the nation's longest active winning streak. Fresh off Brendan Lewis heroics in a statement win against Arkansas. Tonight they meet an FAU team seeking a statement victory of their own under first-year head coach Zach Kittley as both teams open up American Conference play. Hi, everybody. Alongside Rocky Boyman, Jay Alter with you. Tori Petrie will join us on the sideline. You take a look at how Memphis has started this season. 4-0. They've banked an SEC win. Many people think the Tigers could be a college football playoff team, certainly in the driver's seat for that group of 5. One thing, got to keep winning and taking care of business.
Yeah, but they can keep doing what they did last week. An amazing win, overcame an 18-point deficit, close to 500 yards offense, 290 of those rushing. And Jay, that's what really stands out to me is how well they run the football. The unique thing is how well they use pre-snap shifts and motions to create new gaps in the run game, and you better have someone in all those gaps or they're going to absolutely gash. Do such a good job at that, and also having a great weapon at the quarterback position like Brendan Lee makes you +1 in the run game. He's powerful, he's dynamic, he's fast, not afraid to run that football. Of course, also a dual threat option. He'll roll him outside, give him a two-way go to run it, to throw it. He always seems to make the right decision. And then their running back, Sutton Smith, someone again, they get a hat on a hat, find a gap, and he will absolutely blister you down the sideline. Really, really impressed with this run game.
And what's amazing is they've carried over the success that they had from last year's 11-win season with 72 new players. They still got the longest active winning streak, tied with Ohio State. 44 consecutive games scoring 20 or more points. It's been a remarkable stability under Ryan Silverfield and this Memphis program. Let's check in down on the sideline with Tori Petrie.
Well, Jay, this Memphis team knows that they cannot let the high of last week's big win impact their game this week. Head coach Ryan Silverfield used the example with his team this week of how last year they had a big win over FSU, and then the following week they lost to Navy, a team that was coming off of a bye, similar to how FAU is today. So in order to make sure his team stayed focused this week, he told us he came in on Sunday morning absolutely ticked off. He said, "You would have thought we lost by 30 the way I was ripping players and staff. We only have one goal this season, and that is to win our conference championship, and that starts with winning our first conference game."
Now, we joked with Silverfield, okay, you're screaming at everybody. Remember last year when we beat FSU and then lost to Navy? We got 72 new players, Coach. A lot of those players weren't part of that win and then disappointing loss. And he joked back, yeah, I guess we're just reminding the staff because, look, in today's day and age of college football, it is a week-to-week season. What you did last week has no impact on what's going to happen this week. And Zach Kittley, there he is, first-year head coach, youngest coach in all of FBS college football, just 34 years old. Last week, the Owls had a bye week to get ready for this Memphis program. And Kittley at 6'7". And what's so interesting about his football journey is he didn't even play college football. Was a student assistant at Texas Tech, rose to coaching ranks, and now a head coach at the age of 34, the youngest in all of college football. Kittley won the toss, decided to defer. So it's FAU set to kick it away in their home red uniforms, and it's Memphis ready to receive in their white and blue.
FAU does some tricky things on special teams. Always got to be aware if you're Memphis.
We've got whistles before the opening kick here in Boca. Trying to get this teed up correctly. Andrew Nelms, the redshirt sophomore, playing with it. And Sutton Smith, the dangerous return man for Memphis. Tigers looking to keep it rolling. One of the hottest teams to start the season, going on the road after a big win against Arkansas. And we get our first look at this Memphis offense We just told you 44 straight games where they've scored 20 or more points. A lot of those games with Seth Hennigan at quarterback. They didn't know how they were going to replace Hennigan, the 4-year starter, while new quarterback Brendan Lewis has kept it rolling.
Yeah, a lot of folks thought Memphis was the team that could win the American Conference if they could find a quarterback. And I think through 4 games, Brendan Lewis has established himself as that quarterback. I think he's making, again, much better decisions with the football, the dynamic element of his run game, whole package.
Made some hard runs in the win against Arkansas, set to throw on first down. Dialing up a deep shot, and it's caught. Big play. Lewis dials it to Bryce Dorsey. Jamari Hawkins for a gain of 41.
And FAU is usually the team that likes to throw the ball down the field, so Memphis wanted to give them a taste of their own medicine, going with a deep shot to open up this football game. Ball a little bit underthrown, but a great job by Jamari Hawkins coming back on it.
33-yard line.
After the Tigers ran all over Arkansas, they dial it up for 41 through the air. Now they go to the ground game. There's a flag down. Greg Duosier with the carry. And we get our first penalty of the night.
With the carry, but there is a penalty on the field.
Offside. Defense. Number 18. 5-yard penalty. It's first down.
Now, this is not the start you want if you're FAU. You had the bye week after a disappointing loss against FIU. And you let up a 41-yard catch and then commit an offsides infraction.
Yeah, a lot of newness on that FAU defense. 7 new defensive backs, 5 new linemen. They're still trying to figure it out.
Lewis and the Tigers offense looking for a quick strike. A minute into this one, Lewis not afraid to take it himself. We saw that against Arkansas a week ago. Bottled up really well. Josh Roberts, the freshman, the first one there for the Owls. And Lewis, a big part of this run game, like you mentioned, Rocky, not afraid to call his own number. And the Tigers have gone over 200 yards rushing in all 4 games they've played this season.
Yeah, Lewis with 103 rush yards last week. He was dynamic, especially in the second half of that game against Arkansas.
Duosier makes a cut, has the first down for Memphis, and is spun out of bounds.
Greg Duosier, ball carrier.
Gain of 11 to move the chains.
Tackled by Therese Reed.
There's a great job of blocking here. Look at the receiver, Marcelo Bussi, on the outside, coming back into your screen, blocking downfield.
11-yard gain.
And Ryan Silverfield leaves no stone unturned. He must make sure those wide receivers on the outside are blocking.
Now Memphis into the red zone where they have been phenomenal this season. 13 trips, 11 touchdowns, only 2 field goals. They've come away with points every time they've taken a trip inside the 20. Lewis trying to keep it going. Diving in. Touchdown, Brendan Lewis.
18-yard touchdown run.
Picking up where he left off against Arkansas. Not afraid of the hard yards. And it's Lewis who opens the scoring for Memphis.
In Memphis with a unique formation, they're going to spread the field wide, go empty, and it really just makes that box light. And Brendan Lewis is so good at just finding a little bit of crease. Florida Atlantic told us yesterday we cannot let the quarterback beat us with his legs. And there on the first drive, he does just that, punches it in for the touchdown.
Extra point. It's good.
As good a start you could ask for Brendan Lewis and Ryan Silverfield's offense. They go 75 yards in just 4 plays, and Lewis finishes it off.
Yeah, Brendan Lewis, he looks to the outside, nothing there, so I'm just going to tuck this thing, run it to the end zone, blocking downfield, Memphis up 7-0.
Well, we welcome you to ESPN College Football Primetime, presented by Geico. From Stillwater, Oklahoma to Boca Raton, Florida, where Memphis has picked up where they left off a week ago. Bagging an SEC win against Arkansas. Their first drive, they go 4 plays, 75 yards for a touchdown, Rocky.
Yeah, in this case, it's Memphis starting up the game, going into the air deep. Jamari Hankins down the outside of the sideline. And then from there, it was just that run game we talked about. Brendan Lewis picking the right option here. They get a little bit of a stuff there, but after that, they go 4 wide, empty formation, and let him just pick his spot to go, punches in for the touchdown.
Lewis, who rushed for 103 yards and 2 touchdowns a week ago against Arkansas, opens the scoring against FAU on the road. And Ryan Silverfield, who's done a terrific job as head coach for Memphis, particularly the last couple of seasons, was on everybody. Look, we just came off a big win. Now we got to go on the road to a team that had a bye week a week ago and is coming off a loss. And that first drive sent a statement that Memphis is not dropped an inch of where they were a week ago when they beat Arkansas.
No, I think a coach's main role is being a psychologist and knowing how to get into the hearts and minds of your players. And coming off a big win like that, there's a tendency to let things go and relax a little bit. Coming here on the road to FAU, he said, not on my watch.
So now we get a look at the FAU offense. Fastest team in the country, 18.5 seconds per play under the direction of first-year head coach Zach Kittley, youngest head coach in college football. He fell in love with football watching Mike Leach, Texas Tech teams. So yesterday, Rocky, you got him on the board. He was taking us through his principles. Awesome conversation.
Yeah, and this is just a typical air raid concept called 95 Y cross here, just kind of taking me through the progressions here. And I mean, he just does such a good job with this offense, the speed, the tempo. And the main thing I would say that really classifies their offense is they spread the field and then find matchups. They want to find that one-on-one matchup in space and make you pay for it.
And don't blink. The Owls, under Kittley's direction, are going to go in a hurry. You hear fastest team in the country. Very rare that Caden Veldkamp would take this much time in between plays, and they're still going to snap it with more than 15 seconds left on the play clock. Veldkamp taking a shot right on the money, deep downfield, picks out his top target, Easton Messer. Those two transferred over together from Western Kentucky. Big gain of 35.
And that's what we're talking about. Spread the field, find a matchup you like, and they like Easton Messer on just about everybody. 9.3 yards of reception per game, second in the nation. You are going to see a lot of Veldkamp to Messer here today.
Well, Veldkamp was brought in by Kittley to run this offense. Kittley originally recruited Veldkamp to Western Kentucky when he was the offensive coordinator there. A big hit after the catch made by Messer. Did a nice job to hang on to that one. Kamari Wilson laying the lumber in the secondary for Memphis.
Caden Veldkamp, 6'6", 236. He was one of the top transfers in the American Conference coming over from Western Kentucky.
Has struggled through 3 games in an FAU uniform, 7 interceptions, which has led to a turnover margin of -8. Tough to win football games when you have that negative turnover margin, so they're looking for a big performance from Veldkamp and this offense to protect the football tonight.
I mean, you're naturally going to have a few more interceptions when you throw the ball as much as they do, but you're right, Jay, that number has got to come way down. 7 interceptions on the season.
Movement before the snap.
False start. Offense, number 73. 5-yard penalty. It's 3rd down.
So a 3rd and 3 becomes 3rd and 8.
And that's one of the things about trying to go so fast is you want to get up on the line, we got to go, and you know, somebody's off sides or there's too many guys in motion. It's one of the downsides of this super fast tempo.
Veldkamp on a 3rd and 8. Good pocket, nobody open though. Throws on the run. It's caught for an Owls first down. Easton Messer again. He's got 3 receptions on this opening drive for FAU.
I thought he had Messer even a little bit earlier in that play, but he was able to keep it alive and find him late.
Pressure comes, pass over the middle, it's caught. Jay-Sean Platt all the way to the 5. And FAU is in business. Unique formation there. 6 wide receivers, 3 to the left, 3 to the right, and Platt was open over the middle. They hurry to the line on a 1st and goal. Trying to punch it in. Veldkamp trying to do it with his legs. 6'6", reaching for the pylon. He's in! Touchdown, FAU! Caden Veldkamp using every inch of that 6'6" frame, soaring to the end zone in an impressive response. 7-play, 75-yard touchdown drive to answer.
I wonder if they're going to take a look at this. He was right at that line. Yeah, they are going to take a look at this.
The ruling of a touchdown is under further review.
Looks short.
I think that elbow looks like it's down before it crosses.
It's
the
Kamari
plane.
Wilson who flies in and makes contact with Veldkamp in the air, which ultimately brings him down about a half-yard shy of the end zone.
Yeah, it's that right elbow right there. Ball clearly has not broken the plane.
This could be deja vu for Owls fans. First game of the season against Maryland, they took their opening drive to the 6-inch line and couldn't punch it in.
But you can see the benefits of the tempo, right? And okay, Memphis scores, and then FAU gets the ball, and it's just bang, 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 right down the field. And before you even know what happens, they're knocking on your doorstep to punch in a touchdown.
Well, from the looks that we saw, this will likely be overturned. Veldkamp clearly down inside the 1-yard line.
That's the best look. That ball looks to be about a good 3 inches short.
Yeah, there's green grass in between the ball and the plane.
And this is tougher for FAU because they're not a power running game, right? They're like an outfit like to throw the ball around a lot.
After review, the runner was short of the goal line. It will be 2nd and goal at the half-yard line.
So I said 6'6" got him in. He needed to be 6'9".
6'9", he would have been in.
So 2nd and goal now from inside the 1-yard line. Wouldn't you just put Veldkamp under center? I know it's not your offense, you're a spread, but just let him try and pound it in with his big frame, 236 pounds.
They went for a quarterback sneak, kind of a tush-push against FIU and didn't get it on a 4th down, so.
Fumble! Veldkamp lost it in the exchange with center Vincent Facable.
See, and that's the other part. You go in shotgun so much, and now you get down here, you try to go under center. It's not something you do a lot, and the ball goes on the ground.
Well, the Owls fortunately fall on this ball.
I mean, see, that's the downside.
The turnovers have plagued FAU, worst in all of college football at -8. 3rd and goal, Veldkamp trying to get in. Trying to bulldoze that pile, and he's short again. Memphis's defensive front standing tall on the goal line package, and that brings up 4th and goal. And you know that Zach Kitley's going to go for it. Ultra aggressive on 4th down. He's gone for it 18 times this season.
Yeah, and this was a no-brainer. They go by all the analytics. The book says to go. They want to try to punch in a touchdown here.
Veldkamp pulls the bootleg, dives, he's in! Touchdown, Caden Veldkamp! And the Owls cash in a 10-play opening drive on a 4th and goal. Big time play by Caden Veldkamp.
And Jay, Belkamp is not a powerful runner, maybe not even a fast runner, but here is where that 6'6" frame helps out. He just reaches out from about the 4-yard line and easily gets that ball inside the pylon.
Extra point is through, and both teams have cashed in on their opening drive to start this game. If you like points, this is a game for you.
Lots of speed, but here was Belkamp saying, I'm going to take it myself to the sideline, the frame. Touchdown, we're tied up here.
ESPN College Football Primetime is presented by Geico Switch and Save. Get more with Geico. And in part by Fairlife. Enjoy great taste and nutrition with Fairlife Ultra Filtered Milk.
Memphis has produced some great running backs to the next level. Pollard, Gibson, and Gainwell, they've all scored a touchdown this season for their NFL teams. And tomorrow you don't want to miss 10 Eastern, ESPN. Sunday NFL Countdown. Chris Berman sitting down with Jalen Hurts and Nick Sirianni before the Eagles take on the Bucs. And live coverage on the field as Jackson Dart makes his first start for the New York Giants.
And Memphis is running back you, and I think they got another great one here, Sutton Smith. We're going to probably see him a lot starting on this drive.
Game's going final around the country. Let's check into the studio with Kevin Connors.
Memphis on the Tigers 25.
Great game going on between Mississippi State and Tennessee. We've got a good one here in Boca Raton. Brendan Lewis, who was outstanding last week against Arkansas, picked up where he left off, had a rushing touchdown on the opening drive. He's using his legs again. And it's not just his legs, Rocky, but the way he's able to use his body to power forward, fall forward for positive yardage has been remarkable this season.
No, that's the thing, is he gets in open space and he forces one-on-one tackles, and not many guys can bring him down. But you see what they like to do with him. Just roll him out, sprint him out to the one side, give him a two-way go. He can throw it or he can tuck and run. It's dangerous.
3 carries for 25 yards so far tonight for Lewis. A flag flies before the snap. This is going to be a false start against Memphis.
False start. Offense, number 9. 5-yard penalty, second down.
Well, the big question mark for Memphis was at the quarterback position. You lose a 4-year starter like Seth Hennigan, so consistent. And Lewis has stepped in and been just what Memphis has needed him to be. He's carried on that incredible 44 straight games, scoring 20 points or more. They stick with Lewis. Why not? He's been effective so far against this FAU defense.
Tackled by Leon Hart Jr.
Guys, Brendan Lewis, when he transferred here, he wasn't guaranteed the starting spot. He was in a competition, and he told me when that happened, he just put his head down and got to work. But now that he is the clear QB1, the coaches want him to speak up a little bit more. Tell us what you like, what you don't. They had that rapport with Seth Hennigan since he was here for so long. Now they're trying to build that with Lewis.
Third member of our crew, Torrey Petrie, down on the sidelines. 3rd and 3. Lewis in trouble. Escapes the pressure, has the first down for Memphis, flying forward again. Fearless Brendan Lewis in the run game.
And the thing that Ryan Silverfield told us yesterday was really a difference in him winning that job, as Torrey talked about, was his experience. He was at Colorado, he was at Nevada. He's got over 2,500 snaps of game action here, and this is just him being creative and strong. All the things we've been talking about. Bunch of red jerseys around him, but he's going to find a way to punch that thing forward for the first down.
1st and 10, and another penalty pre-snap against Memphis.
Illegal snap. Offense, number 52. 5-yard penalty, first down.
Well, the former offensive line coach turned head coach Ryan Silverfield won't like all these penalties against his 5 up front.
First down, 15 from the 34-yard line.
So a 1st and 15 after the penalty. Lewis set to throw. Nobody open, decides to tuck and run again. Green grass in front of him. Finally bottled up in the secondary after a long gain of 13.
And Jay, I guarantee you that Brett Dewhurst, the Florida Atlantic defensive coordinator, preached all week, we cannot allow open lanes for the quarterback to scramble and pick up yards. But he's just camping back there, had a great pocket, and then that thing opens up, breaks a couple tackles. And if you don't stop that, he's just going to keep doing it all game long.
That is Sutton Smith's first carry of the night. He was brilliant in the win against Arkansas a week ago. Averaged 12 yards per carry. Picks up the first down there for the Tigers.
Sutton Smith in that second half had a 64-yard touchdown run that really swung some momentum in Memphis's favor. I think he's a special back. He's not the biggest back, Jay, but he runs bigger than he is. He's 5'9", 185, but he runs like a guy that's close to 220.
Well, we just showed you Pollard, Gainwell, and Gibson, former Memphis running backs, doing big things in the NFL. Sutton Smith could very likely be the next one. This time the Tigers effective in the passing game. Cortez Braham, his first reception of the night, and it's another Memphis first down.
And they go 4 receivers to one side and leave Braham up top. ISO, and that's a matchup you like as they bring the corner blitz. Braham, tall wide receiver, goes about 6'2", 6'3", hit him with a slant.
Good familiarity between Lewis and Braham, both coming over from Nevada. And it's a 1st and 10 for the Tigers. Lewis sandwiched by 2 running backs. Hands it off. FAU defends it well.
And Jay, I don't know if Memphis has been in the same formation 2 times this entire game. And that's exactly what makes them so good, especially in the run game, is they give the defenders a lot to think about. You know, and while you're trying to figure out what gap you have, boom, they snap that ball. Tim Krams, the OC, told us yesterday, is, look, I just want the defense to hesitate for 1 second. That's all I need. and we're going to punch that thing forward.
Lewis in trouble. Thrown down. Wilkie denied. The Stewart, Florida product. Great in pursuit. Kept Lewis to only a gain of 1.
Yeah, and then it was Marcellin, the linebacker, that forced Lewis to his right, forcing him to step up in that pocket. And then it was Denard who, I'll tell you what, if Denard didn't bring him down, Jay, he was going to run for a long time. That was an excellent tackle.
3rd and 5. DeWosier and Sutton both in the backfield. It's Lewis who pitches it to Sutton, and he's wrestled down short of the sticks. And now a decision to make if you're Memphis on 4th down.
This one, you know, they use the analytics here, and looks like the analytics is telling them to kick this thing.
Gianni Spedic, a transfer from Ohio.
And I think that was one, Jay, where had they cut that thing to 4th and 3, 4th and 2, they would have went for it, but 4th and 5, the book's going to tell you, kick this thing.
Far from a gimme, though. This is a 52-yard attempt. Spedic sends it flying into the Boca Raton night sky and drills it. Just enough on it. Gianni Spedic from 52 to fire Memphis back in front.
Helps have a great kick game for those kind of decisions right there. So they weren't able to pick up the 1st down, but on 4th and 5, they send their kicker, Spedic, out there, nails the 52-yarder. Memphis on top.
This is the American on ESPN. First conference game for both teams. Memphis up on FAU 10-7 after a 6-minute drive stalled out for a 52-yard field goal. Now we're only 4 weeks into the college football season, but it does feel like the winner of the American will make the college football playoff. That conference starting to separate themselves. Let's take a look at our drive recap, brought to you by AutoZone. FAU trying to spoil Memphis' strong start to the season. They look good on their opening drive.
Right again, it was the dynamic duo, Veldkamp to Easton Messer. That's a combination they really want to get going here. They played together at Western Kentucky. They're continuing to play well here at FAU. And then it was Veldkamp trying to punch it in for the touchdown with his legs. Memphis did a good job bowing up, but then finally, Caden Veldkamp again using all 6'6" of that frame, gets the ball inside the pylon.
And that was on 4th and goal to punch it in for a touchdown. FAU offense back onto the field. Veldkamp sticks with his legs. It served him well on the previous possession. Sam Brumfield, a loss of 2. Nice stop by the transfer from Virginia Tech. And we expected a lot of points in this one. Both of these quarterbacks have been active with their legs, although Veldkamp lost his helmet there. So enter Zach Gibson for a play. FAU, his 4th school, started at Akron, then Georgia Tech, Georgia State, and now here in Boca. We'll keep it on the ground. Jamari Sands, not much running room.
I think Jamari Sands is a good running back, and FAU's, they want to run the ball just enough to be dangerous. It's all zone runs. They're going to count the box. If they think they have a numbers advantage, they're going to hand that thing off and just try to get 3 or 4 yards and keep that defense honest and not being able to spread the whole field.
Now the Owls have run it 6 straight times going back to the previous possession. They'll probably have to pass here on a 3rd and 8. Veldkamp looking to throw. Pressure comes. Throws over the middle, and it's dropped. That pass a little behind Jayshon Platt. And the Owls will have to punt a 3-and-out for FAU.
And it was just a 3-man route there, and they bring Platt in motion, and I thought he did a good job of bringing him over the middle and getting open. The ball is just behind him. That's just a throw that Veldkamp absolutely has to make. They get the receiver wide open. You got to hit him.
Now this is what first-year head coach Zach Kittley was talking about. He's been happy with his offense on the first possession of games, but they haven't been able to sustain it, and they follow up a strong opening drive with a 3-and-out. Memphis will start inside their own 20. Brendan Lewis in his final year of college football, a career that started in Colorado, and then Deion Sanders comes to town, brings Shador, and he goes to a new home in Nevada where he was all Mountain West honorable mention. He was strong for the Wolfpack and then transferred to Memphis, and he was not promised a job when they brought him in. He was brought in to compete, won the job in the fall, and he has been impressive through 4 games.
Yeah, but all those snaps he's taken at 2 other schools have really helped his experience. Again, allowed him to win that job.
Lewis stays in that pocket, throws downfield, out of bounds. Well covered by FAU. That was Sutton Smith, the running back, deep downfield.
Lewis looked locked in on Sutton Smith the entire time.
Jay Alter, Rocky Boyman, Torrey Petrie with you. If you like points, this is the game for you. Both of these teams known for putting them up. Now Memphis, 44 straight games scoring 20 or more, and FAU with new head coach Zach Kittley, high-powered offense that they're looking to put on display. Really well read in the run game for FAU. Their defense has needed that. No gain.
And this is unfortunate for Memphis because they're a team that is not afraid to run the ball on 3rd down, but here on 3rd and 10, that's going to be a tough proposition to try to run here.
CJ Doggett setting the standard on that defensive line, number 1 in red. He'll have his ears pinned back on a 3rd and 10 after that stop.
His linebackers showing blitz.
How many will the Owls send on a 3rd and 10? They send 6. Lewis in trouble. Down he goes. FAU dials up the blitz, and it pays off. Deshaun Baptiste and Eric Brantley Jr. bring down Lewis for a loss of 8. And Memphis will be forced to punt from their own 10-yard line.
And Jay, you nailed it. They lined up 6, and they brought him. Both those linebackers in the B gaps. That was a good job there of just creating a one-on-one matchup on the outside. And Batiste in on that.
Lachlan Kerrigan, the true freshman from Australia, punting from his own end zone. A lefty gets it away cleanly. And Easton Messer calls for the fair catch. Favorable field position for the Owls with 22 seconds remaining in this opening quarter. FAU, they've had a football program now for 25 years. Howard Schnellenberger got it started for the first decade, and then Lane Kiffin, a very notable name. He got a big win today against LSU at Ole Miss, and then Willie Taggart, Tom Herman. The last 2 didn't work out. Herman got fired after just 20 games, and now they've got the youngest coach in all of college football, Zach Kittley, as head coach and calling the offense. And Kittley said, look, I like the fact that they got rid of a coach after 20 games, because that means they're committed to winning.
Yeah, they're not going to put up with putting a subpar product out there.
One final snap to finish this first quarter to set up a 3rd and manageable. Now they give them the first down, so it'll be a fresh set of downs in Memphis territory for FAU, trailing 10-7
That's the end of the first quarter.
After 1.
Coach, we talked this week about how tricky it can be game planning for a team that doesn't have a lot of film on tape, coming off of a bye. What have you thought of what FAU has shown so far?
Yeah, they're doing a good job. No excuses by us. We got to do a better job. Too many self-inflicted wounds on offense. We got to protect better. And the defense, we can't give up the explosive play. We got to be able to handle their tempo and out-tempo them.
What do you need to do on this drive to keep them out of the end zone?
Everything. We got to be able to get stops. Obviously, they're trying to run the ball a little bit more effectively. We got to be able to affect the quarterback.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
And Jay, what's unique about what FAU is doing is they're a passing team, but out of 15 plays, 8 of them have been runs, including 8 of the last 9 plays.
Now throwing it on first down to start this second quarter. And Veldkamp picked out Jay-Sean Platt for a gain of 9. Fastest team in college football with Caden Veldkamp, the capable quarterback. Far more balanced today, although he goes back to the air. And just misses Platt, went right back to him after he made the grab on the previous play.
Yeah, but again, I like the way they're mixing in the run. I mean, in Memphis all week, hey, these guys are going to throw the ball 90 times a night, so mix in a little bit of run game just to keep that defense honest.
And when you're going against the fastest team in the country, 18.5 seconds per play, you play defense your whole career, Rocky. When Ryan Silverfield says, we've got to be the tempo, what does he mean by that? Because we always hear that the offense is the team setting the tempo.
Well, it just means you can't be surprised by it. You got to be expecting it, and you got to make sure you're playing with your hair on fire out there.
The Owls go back to the ground, and Xavier Terrell moves the chains. 1st and 10 FAU. Marching in Memphis territory, trailing by 3 at the start of this second quarter. Handed off, Memphis getting into the backfield. Terrell did well to just scoot out of bounds. No gain. That's far better than what could have been a loss of 4 or 5 with Everett Rousseau and William Whitlow Jr. in hot pursuit.
And the other thing the tempo does, Jay, is it limits the amount of exotic things you can do on defense. And Memphis really does a lot of those things. Lots of blitzes and dropping guys out, so they try to get more of a vanilla look by going fast if you're FAU.
6 on the line for the Tigers, but they only send 4. Veldkamp got rid of it quickly. Dom Henry makes the catch. And that sets up a 3rd and manageable for this Owls offense.
Again, with how much they go for it on 4th down, I think right now, if you're FAU, you're not saying we don't need 5 yards. We need 3 yards here to make a manageable 4th down if you have to go for it.
Third and 5, empty set for Veldkamp. Surveys, throws, it's caught for an Owls first down. The tight end, Michael Kirch, his first catch of the night, and it's a big one to keep the drive alive.
These route combinations, they put 4 wide receivers in the boundary, and all of a sudden Kirch just pops open right in the middle of the field. The OTB over the ball route. Nice throw by Veldkamp.
Ninth play of the drive. They go back to the ground. Not much going, bottled up. Jamari Sands met by 4 or 5 Memphis Tigers on that defensive line.
I think this Memphis defensive line is the real deal. Really enjoyed watching them this week. Thought they played fantastic against an SEC offensive line last week.
1 yard gain of the play. 2nd down, 9.
This is the first time this defense has gone against an up-tempo team, and not just up-tempo, the fastest team in all of college football through 4 weeks. Veldkamp throws over the middle out of the backfield. It's Sands falling forward just short of the sticks. Will set up a 3rd and 1.
And I thought this was great, Jay. Veldkamp, coach told us he likes to look the way of Easton Messer a lot of times, but Messer wasn't open, so boom, he comes back to his running back instead of forcing that thing. That was great.
Snap it quickly, needing a yard. Veldkamp falling forward, and the ball came out. Now a scramble for the football. Right at the line of scrimmage. Needed a yard. Don't think Veldkamp got there. The Owls do recover the football. It was Brumfield who made the contact on Veldkamp. So a 4th down for Zach Kittley after they nearly turned it over.
And I did not see Easton Messer out there, his favorite target on this 4th down play.
Ultra aggressive on 4th down. They've gone for it 19 times this season, once tonight. 4th and 2. And a timeout taken by Zach Kittley with the play clock winding down to 0.
Prior to the flag, timeout, Florida Atlantic.
We'll take the timeout as well. A 4th and 2 from Boca when we come back. You're watching ESPN College Football Primetime presented by Geico. We've got a good one in Boca. Memphis a 10-7 lead. The Tigers carry the nation's longest winning streak along with Ohio State. An opportunity to move ahead of the Buckeyes with a win tonight, but FAU giving the Tigers everything they can handle, and a big 4th and 2 here for the Owls offense.
And they're going to have Easton Messer, their best wide receiver, on the sideline for this critical 4th down.
FAU has kept the ball on the ground a lot more tonight than they have in the previous 3 games to start the season. What do they do here on a 4th and 2? Veldkamp throws, it's caught! First down FAU, Michael Kirsch, the tight end. And the Owls convert on 4th down again. On the opening drive, a 4th down conversion led to a touchdown.
What a unique play, and I really believe it's all the running that Veldkamp has done today that made that play work. If you're Memphis, you got to respect it, because you've seen us so many times today and allowed just enough hesitation to get his tight end out there for the first down. What a unique play out of Zach Kittley.
And it results in a 1st and goal. 13th play upcoming for a long Owls drive. Delcamp tangled up, escapes the sack, throws. He had Jamari Sands wide open in the end zone, missed him. There is a flag down right at the goal line. Delcamp clearly shaken up, but good to see him back.
And this is unfortunate because Sands is wide open, no one around him. He's almost got that thing still.
Ineligible receiver downfield. Offense, 5-yard penalty, replay first down.
You can see why the throw was off target when you take a look at that last angle. You got two defensive linemen bearing down on you.
Yeah, Delcamp seen Sands escape out of there, uncovered a little bit earlier. Could have had him.
After the penalty,
Memphis accepts the penalty, so a repeat of 1st and goal, this time from the 10-yard line. Delcamp hands it off. Jayshon Platt showing off the speed, untouched. Touchdown, FAU. An impressive 13-play drive for an Owls offense that picked apart this Memphis defense. And they kept it on the ground a lot more than we're used to seeing. And of course, it's Platt on the ground game that punches it in for the touchdown. We've got a fake here. Nelms, nowhere he could go with it, a bobbled snap, had to turn it into a fake.
is no good.
Not designed, but sometimes you got to improv when there's a miscue in the special teams game.
I'll tell you what, it's hard to beat this Memphis defense with speed, but Jayshon Platt has some tremendous speed. They bring him on the jet sweep from right to left, hand that ball off, and gone to the outside, outrunning 3 wide jerseys. FAU back in this.
Watch. Sync. Swipe. Personalize. Now available on the ESPN app.
Now, Florida Atlantic been impressive offensively to start this game. A 13-10 Owls lead. 2 touchdown drives. They failed the extra point on a bobbled hold, but taking 5 minutes and 38 seconds off the clock. That is the longest drive this season for the FAU offense, and they are in the driver's seat now against undefeated Memphis, 13-10. The touchback. Let's send you into the studio. Kevin Connors has an update. Feel like we've had a lot of overtime all over college football. That's got a fun finish in Stark Vegas. We've got a good one here in Boca. Memphis, a team that after their win against SEC's Arkansas, put them in the leader in the clubhouse when it came to who's going to be this year's Boise State, the group of 5 team that makes the college football playoff. And you talk to their head coach, Ryan Silverfield, and he said he woke up upset on Sunday. Upset, you just beat an SEC team. Might be his biggest win as a head coach. And he said, look, we gave up too many points, and you would have thought we lost by 30 based off how he treated his players and his coaches this week. And they knew a tough test awaited them here in Boca. The Owls coming off the bye. That's Greg Duosier who picks up the first down for Memphis. Let's check in with Tori.
Yeah, Jay, head coach Ryan Silverfield likes for his players to be on their P's and Q's, and he was on top of them this week. He told us if you're slipping on Tuesday, that means you're going to slip on Saturday.
Yeah, it's just their relentless attitude you got to have. You can't let one thing slide. If you're a coach, you can't let any complacency set in. And Ryan Silverfield, he's been coaching a long, long time. He knows how easy it is for those things to happen.
Facing on the road an FAU team that had an extra week to prepare. Lewis spins out of trouble. Rolls left. Nobody open, so just throws it away. But did a nice job to escape the sack there.
Yeah, that was phenomenal job by Brendan Lewis. He had a free blitzer coming off his left side. He's going to read this thing. And he just easily just slips out of it, but a good decision here. Not trying to force that ball to the middle of the field here, throw it away and live the fight another day. If you're Memphis right now, there's no panic here, no panic that you're down 3 points. Just keep playing your game, keep running the ball effectively.
A team that's rushed for more than 200 yards in every game they've played this season. Lewis lost his footing short of the sticks. Even when it looked like he was going down, he still spun and fell forward for an extra 2, and that sets up a 30 short.
I like this play concept here. Jamari Hawkins is going to the outside, and he just pulls the defender, Filford.
Timeout for Andrew
Lewis
Blair.
has stayed down after that hard run, grabbing his shoulder.
Wow. I'm not sure if it was on the hit or if it was when he landed on the ground there at the end.
He knew it immediately.
Yeah. And this, of course, is the downside to running your quarterback, is he's going to take some shots.
He's carried it 9 times tonight, and now Arrington Maiden enters the game, the redshirt freshman who might have the biggest run of all the Memphis ball carriers last week against Arkansas. Came in, picked up a first down on a run of 11 to clinch the win. And now thrust into this game on a 3rd and 2.
Maiden's a big boy. He goes about 230 pounds.
He hands Hands it off this time, pushing the pile for a Memphis first down. Greg Duosier churning those legs to move the sticks.
Yeah, they got a 4- or 5-headed monster at running back here at Memphis, and the majority is going to be Sutton Smith and Greg Duosier, but they'll mix in some Malachi Bodford, some Frank Pazant. Keep those guys fresh.
Right at the 50 with a new quarterback. Arrington Maiden into the game with Brendan Lewis getting checked out on the Tigers sideline. Hands it off again. Duosier follows the hole into FAU territory on a gain of 6.
The carry. Chris Keys Jr. with the tackle for the Owls.
Interesting to see,
6-yard
get a report on Brendan Lewis. Obviously, again, his experience he brings to the table and one of your main guy in there.
Maiden has not attempted a pass so far this season. When he's in the game, it's been usually to run the football himself or hand it off, and he hasn't had many snaps with Brendan Lewis being so reliable. Maiden takes it himself, drilled and dropped behind the line of scrimmage. FAU read it perfectly. Denard, his second tackle for loss tonight. And that brings up 3rd down for this Memphis offense with their backup quarterback.
Good job by Jaden Sweeney, the safety, filling quickly. There we go, 5 wide, spreading the field. If you're FAU's defense, you got to be cognizant of the quarterback run up the middle.
Play clock hit 0. Ryan Silverfield snuck in a timeout.
First charge timeout, Memphis. Media timeout.
So we'll step aside ahead of a 3rd and 6. Memphis with a backup quarterback, trailing by 3 on the road.
Please reset the game clock to 5:50.
Welcome back to Boca Raton, where FAU leads Memphis 13-10. Memphis quarterback Brendan Lewis went down just a bit ago and spent quite a bit of time in the tent, but he has now emerged. Although he was still grimacing a bit, moving around his throwing arm, he was able to throw some here on the sidelines, put his helmet back on. Looks like he's looking to get back into this one.
Well, right now it's the backup, Arrington Maiden, on a 3rd and 6 out of the Memphis timeout. Hands it off, nowhere to run, bottled up. The FAU defense continues to deliver. Deshaun Batiste. And it's 4th down for Ryan Silverfield of the Tigers offense.
We got Brandon Lewis coming back into the game, and I agree with what Torrey said. He was still grimacing. That right arm looked like it was hanging there a little bit, but they're going to bring him back in for this 4th and 6. Critical play in this game. Have to imagine it's going to be a run here.
Would you let Lewis run it, or he's got to hand it off, right? Pressure comes. Lewis going to throw, taking a deep shot with a banged up shoulder, and it falls incomplete, just sailed on him. Picking out Jamari Hawkins, the target.
Yeah, the way he was letting that arm hang, you see right there, he's still trying to loosen that thing up. I can't believe they tried a deep shot with him in that instance.
So a turnover on downs after Lewis came in for this 4th down attempt.
Looked okay in the throw and the follow through, but then as he's jogging off the field, he's still trying to loosen that thing up.
He comes out of the injury tent, throws 2 or 3 passes, and then boom, you got to go in on a 4th and 6. Turnover on downs, and FAU takes over in favorable field position here. The 46-yard line, leading by 3. 5 minutes to play in this first half. Play action. Velkamp rolls right, in trouble. Just threw it away there. Nobody home.
Incomplete. That'll bring up 2nd down.
Puda Walker providing the pressure for Memphis. Big opportunity for a Tigers defense that has been outstanding in the second half of games this season. They've only allowed 10 total points on defense after halftime. You need them to bring that mentality on this drive to keep it a 3-point game. Jamari Sands weaving through traffic, churning the legs right at the line of the game, and they mark him a half-yard shy of the 1st down marker.
I'm telling you, still this run game has been, in my opinion, the big difference, the big factor in this game. Memphis has watched this tape all week about the throws they're going to do, the route combinations. Right now they're running the ball.
Quick snap. Velkamp has the 1st down, slides, and a flag flies in. Kamari Wilson made contact with Velkamp after he initiated his slide. And this will set up FAU.
After the play, personal foul. Defense, number 24. 15-yard penalty, 1st down.
And I know this is going to draw a flag every time. I wish it were different, because this is a hard thing to do. You got a 6'6" quarterback running right at you here, and you're trying to stop him from gaining a 1st down, and I hate that call right there.
Well, the former linebacker, 4 years in Notre Dame, 8 years in the NFL. Rocky Boyman doesn't like that.
He didn't even hit him in the head. I know Jordan
that would have been targeted.
Yeah.
Sands been very shifty on the last couple of runs. Takes that for 2. Florida Atlantic knocking on the doorstep of the red zone again. Under 4 minutes remaining in this first half.
2nd down.
Velkamp set to throw, surveys, drills one over the middle. It's caught for another Owls 1st down. Platt, who had the touchdown earlier, great catch there.
Velkamp throws an absolute missile over the middle, and Jayshawn Platt just snatches it out of the night sky.
Handoff Sands. Memphis thought that ball popped out, but Sands ruled down.
I'm gonna look at this pass here. Yeah, great job of seeing the open receiver and not hesitating, just uncorking that thing.
The ruling on the field was the runner was down prior to the ball coming loose. Timeout for injured player.
You can see it is Sands, the ball carrier, who stays down, clearly in pain, getting checked out by the Owls medical staff. Jalen Bell and Kamari Wilson, the tacklers on Sands on that play, just sandwiched them. Big hit there by Wilson, who just committed the infraction against Veldkamp on the previous carry.
It looks like that leg might have gotten folded up a little bit. I've been real impressed with Jamari Sands. He's got some good wiggle to him. Nice jump cut we saw right there. It's been impressive.
Sands, who played his high school football right down the road at high school powerhouse St. Thomas Aquinas. He's been the bell cow this season for FAU and getting a lot of attention on the field right now.
Yeah, St. Thomas Aquinas, that's one of the premier high school football programs in the country.
With Sands down, let's check in to the studio with Kevin Connors.
Wow. It's a good sign here for FAU. Jamari Sands walking off the field on his own power.
So now a 2nd and 9 after the injury to Sands.
From the 13-yard line.
Got Easton Messer. Need to get him more involved back in this game here. He's in the slot toward the bottom here. Number 8.
Xavier Terrell on the right hip of Veldkamp. Checking in for Sands. He gets the carry. Goes right up the middle with it. Falls forward inside the 10. And that'll bring up 3rd down as Sam Brumfield made the stop.
Tackled by Chauncey Logan. 4-yard gain.
Again, I mean, big critical 3rd down. I think you got to look the way of your best players, your favorite targets. Again, Easton Messer in the slot to the bottom here. See, they're putting 3 wide receivers trying to get an isolation for number 8 down at the bottom of the screen here. One-on-one coverage.
Empty set for Veldkamp. Looking Messer's way, throws to Messer, and he dropped it. And that's the top target, the best friend. The wide receiver Veldkamp trusts with everything he's got, and Messer just misses it.
God, and that's what you just can't. They set up everything we talked about. Spread the field, get a one-on-one matchup, and just get a little hole for Messer to sit down, and he just got to come up with that ball. A critical drop. Zach Kitley, you can see the expression on his face. Knows they missed one there.
Kitley is known for being ultra aggressive on 4th down, but decides on a 4th and 5, they will settle for the field goal attempt with Garrison Smith. From 27 yards, he puts it straight through. So Florida Atlantic extends their lead to 6.
And
actually,
all things considered, that's a good hold for Memphis defensively.
It is, but I agree with that decision there to not go for it on a 4th and 5. Just kick that ball. You had a nice drive here. Get some points out of that thing and go up 6.
And coming up, 10:15 Eastern on ESPN and the all-new ESPN app. Coach Prime and Colorado welcome number 25 BYU to Boulder. BYU undefeated to start this season. 30 unbeatens entering the weekend. Lost 2 Friday night, and today undefeated teams 9 and 5. 5 teams on the bye. Memphis is one of those undefeated teams, trying to stay perfect on the road against a Florida Atlantic program that's given the Tigers everything they can handle in this first half. You know, one player, Rocky, that we just haven't seen too much of for Memphis is Sutton Smith. Only 2 carries for 4 yards after he put 147 yards on Arkansas a week ago.
Yeah, you can tell the Memphis game plan coming into this thing was to get the quarterback run game going with Brendan Lewis. Now, does that change with him sustaining that shoulder injury? He spent some time in the tent. He came back out, threw an errant pass. I agree with you, Jay. I think you try to get number 5, Sutton Smith, involved in this football game.
Lewis missed 5 plays and then came out for a 4th and 6. Incomplete pass, turned it over on downs, which led to the Owls' field goal. Lewis back out there trailing by 6. 2:18 to work with. Set to throw. Passes over the middle on a check down. It's caught by Braham. Only a gain of 3.
Tell you what, this is easily the best performance by this FAUD so far on the season. They're flying around out there, making tackles. Dylan Williams, nice job.
Brings us to the 2-minute timeout.
There's the 2-minute timeout.
Memphis with 2 timeouts, trailing by 6. Looking forward to that, Kevin. A lot of fantastic finishes across college football today. That should be a great halftime report. 2-minute drill for Brendan Lewis in this Memphis offense, throwing on 2nd and 6. Passes caught for a Tigers first down. Marcelo Bussi Needed 6, got 6.
And I think it's an important drive for Memphis here. You haven't played the half of football you wanted to, but you can get some points on this drive here. I think I can take some wind out of the sails of FAU.
And Lewis, who missed 5 plays with his throwing shoulder in the injury tent, seems to have shaken it off. Looks good in the passing game on this drive.
It really does.
Connects with Cortez Braham there for a gain of 5. Tigers still with 2 timeouts as we tick under 1:30 to play in this first half. Lewis evades the sack. Gonna run for the first time since going down with that shoulder injury. Gain of 4, 3rd and 1 upcoming.
He landed on that right shoulder, Jay. It didn't look to really affect him. That's a good sign.
First down and more. DeWosier with a big hole into FAU territory. Under a minute remaining. Clock stops as they reset the chain.
Jay, that's what I said up before the game here. You play this Memphis offense, you must have a guy in every gap. They didn't there. He made a big run.
They go back to DeWosier, breaks the tackle into the FAU secondary, spinning inside the 20. Big run by Greg DeWosier. And Memphis is in business after the gain of 26.
Yeah, this Memphis train is rolling right now.
Running the ball right down this FAU defense.
Second charge timeout, Florida Atlantic.
Call it
30-second timeout.
And in this offensive line, they just lean on you, and then as this game goes on, this stable of running backs starts breaking tackles.
Usually when you're the defensive team in a 2-minute drill, you're not taking the timeout. But FAU felt like they needed one after those back-to-back carries.
Yeah, I think they just need to get settled. Again, they understand this is a critical drive. If at this point they can find a way to hold Memphis to a field goal, they'll feel pretty good about it. But after playing such a great half of football, I mean, this is something that can take the wind out of your sails if you're FAU giving up a touchdown drive with under 2 minutes to go.
Memphis been brilliant in the red zone this season. Came into the day, 13 trips to the red zone, 11 touchdowns, 2 field goals. They're in the red zone here on a 1st and 10 from the FAU 18. Sutton Smith in the backfield. Instead, Lewis throws it out on a quick hitter. No room to run after the catch, and Memphis has to burn one of their 2 timeouts. Bryce Dorsey's first catch of the night.
Second charge timeout, Memphis, 30-second timeout.
And if you're Ryan Silverfield, you know you have the 2 timeouts, so you can try something like that. Now you're down to 1. Probably have to be more conservative with your play calling.
Yeah, a little bit. I think in these situations, Jay, especially considering who your quarterback is, Brendan Lewis, roll him outside the pocket. Give him a run-pass option, something he can, if he doesn't like what he sees, he can tuck it and run it and get out of bounds and stop that clock. Really got to be happy for Memphis the way Lewis is shaking off what seemed to be a pretty bad shoulder injury, but he's back in there playing well.
Well, Memphis has been far more effective in the run game. 121 rush yards, 43 on this drive. But only 1 timeout, so might have to go through the air. Lewis escapes the sack, trying to get out of bounds, and he does so successfully. He's getting chased by Dylan Williams. This brings up 3rd down after a loss of 2 on the Lewis scramble.
Nothing hurt too bad, though, because you at least were able to get out of bounds with only about 5 seconds ticking off that clock.
Third and 11. What do you do here if you're Memphis, Rocky?
I think you're looking to the outside. Jamari Hawkins, he had that big catch. First play of the game. He's that 3rd receiver from the top of the screen in the slot. FAU looks like it's going to bring some pressure.
Pressure comes. Lewis throws right on the money First down, Memphis. Cortez Braham with the biggest catch of the night. First and goal, Tigers.
And Memphis gave FAU a taste of their own medicine. They go trips to the top, isolate Braham on the bottom.
Touchdown, Memphis. Greg DeWosier bulldozes his way in for a Tigers touchdown. And Memphis ties it at 16 on an impressive 10-play, 75-yard drive in under 2 minutes.
Yeah, fantastic set of plays right there again. They go trips to the top, isolate Braham on the bottom. And then they go back to their bread and butter, which is the run game. Just an absolutely soul-sucking drive by Memphis here to close out this half.
Oh, no doubt about it. That is more like it for Memphis offensively.
And it's so demoralizing. You're FAU, you feel like you've played the best half of football you have this entire season, and you got the Memphis Tigers on the ropes, and then on their last drive, they just marched that thing down the field for a touchdown drive.
And it was fitting that Greg DeWosier punched it in for the Tigers. He had 3 carries, 41 yards on that drive. Now, they called number 13's number, and he delivered. And Memphis only had to use one of those timeouts to do it. They go 75 yards and 10 plays in under 2 minutes to take the lead right before halftime.
I mean, that is a Memphis drive right here. 10 plays, 75 yards. Great control of the clock. That's got to make Ryan Silverfield feel very happy.
Now, Florida Atlantic, they've got 1 timeout. They're the fastest offense in all of college football.
Yeah, maybe you get 12 plays in this time. Maybe not that many, but get a few.
But you think they'll be aggressive instead of just taking a knee and going to halftime?
I don't know. In this particular junction, I'd be safe to take it into halftime here.
Well, Platt's going to run it from his own 1-yard line. He lost the football. The Owls fall on it to retain possession, but Memphis was inches away from getting that ball back. You have to question the decision-making for Jay-Sean Platt to run that ball out, and it nearly cost his Owls team dearly.
I mean, this is almost a absolutely critical error right before the half, as that ball is out. And now, if you're FAU, I have to admit, doesn't look like they have any intention of taking a knee here.
Reed McKeska, the hero for FAU, to fall on that football, because this could have been Memphis ball at the FAU 6-yard line.
Yeah, FAU is short a wide receiver. They're bringing Jarrell Wilson back out on the field.
Quick hitter. Couple of broken tackles, an explosive play. Florida Atlantic has that timeout. Zach Kitley uses it. Assad Wasim, a gain of 19.
And I think
Final charge timeout, Florida Atlantic. 30-second timeout.
They were content to take it into half, but you get an explosive play there to Wasim. Maybe they try to throw one up here.
Here's the brutal thing if you're Zach Kitley in this FAU offense. If that play is from the 25-yard line instead of the 5-yard line,
yeah,
you're getting close to where you'd have a chance at a Hail Mary at the end of the first half. Wasim's fired up.
Yeah, give me the ball, coach. He's feeling it.
That was his first catch of the night. Goes for 19 yards. FAU does get the ball at the start of this second half, but first-year head coach Zach Kitley, he told us he defines himself as ultra-aggressive, and they're going to take one more shot here at the end of the first half, trailing by 1. Right back to Wasim. He was just calling for it. Scoots out of bounds. The Owls will be able to run one more play here with 3 seconds remaining in the first half.
8-yard gain in the play. Second down.
And if I'm Memphis, I'm getting everybody back and just saying, look, nothing over our heads. Keep everything in front of us.
Tigers only send 3. They get it to Easton Messer, and he's tangled up to finish the first half. A fun first half in Boca. Memphis with all the momentum coming in after that big win against Arkansas. And the home team Owls have given Ryan Silverfield's squad everything they can handle. The youngest coach in all of college football fired up. Zach Kitley standing by with Tori Petrie.
Coach, a tight battle with a really good football team, but a good half of football for you guys. What's your assessment of how you played in this first half?
Yeah, I'm proud of where we're at. Our guys are playing hard. I think we'd have 5 more points on the board right there. We had the drop down there inside the 5-yard line, and then we had the botched extra point there. But we're fighting hard. We're playing well. We're going in down 1 1/2, and we feel like we've been kind of dominating this game to a certain extent.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you so much.
A fun first half in Boca. Memphis a narrow 1-point lead, 17-16. Let's get you into the studio. Twisted Tea halftime report.
Touchdown, Memphis. Right to Rosier, 2-yard touchdown run. Touchdown, Memphis. 18-yard touchdown run by Brendan Lewis.
memorial dance structures of tomorrow, at the cutting edge of innovation, and winning at the highest echelon of intercollegiate athletics. This is Florida Atlantic University.
The Boca Community Program was designed for local business leaders to create authentic partnerships that create awareness and deliver customer acquisitions that fit their brand's purpose. We're proud to announce the inaugural Boca members and thank them for their support of Florida Atlantic Athletics, Boca Car Wash, Ad Graphics, Syzygy, Aloft Delray Beach, Fairfield Marriott Boca Raton, Wizards Creations, Ambassador Marketing Group, Wyndham Deerfield Beach Resort. Thank you to Memphis Speedway for being a sponsor of Isaac.
We welcome you back to ESPN College Football Primetime presented by Geico. A fun first half here in Florida, a one-point game as we're about to start the second half between Memphis and Florida Atlantic. The Tigers a nose in front. It was a back and forth first half. Rocky Boyman Jay Alter with you, and you saw on that final drive from Memphis, Rocky, the flash of what makes this Tigers team so dangerous. But give Florida Atlantic a lot of credit, because for long stretches, the Owls looked like the better team in that first half.
Yeah, I thought FAU definitely played overall the best half of football there, but it was right toward the end. Memphis comes back and does what they often do. They find a way to get themselves back in the game, and this was a big turning point. The quarterback, Brendan Lewis, on a scramble to the outside, gets his shoulder dinged up, has to come out of the game visibly hurt with that thing, goes in the tent, but then comes back out, and with under 2 minutes, leads a touchdown drive, get the big slant pass to Cortez Braham, capped off by a touchdown run by Greg DeWozier.
The third quarters have been the difference for both of these teams this season. Memphis, they've only allowed 3 points defensively the entire season in the third quarter. Florida Atlantic, meanwhile, they've yet to score in the third quarter, been outscored 34-0, and they'll get the ball to start the third quarter, looking to change that statistic as we check in with Tori down on the field.
Yeah, guys, I talked to head coach Ryan Silverfield at the half, and he said on offense, the big thing he wants his team to do is to win more one-on-ones in the passing game. He says they're blitzing more, so we've got to be able to take advantage of that. I asked about his quarterback's shoulder, and he said, you know what, this is a tough sucker. He will be absolutely fine. As Brendan Lewis was walking out of the locker room, I asked him how his shoulder felt. He gave me a thumbs up.
And Jay, in the meeting yesterday, how many times does Zach Kitley tell us the third quarter is where we got to be better? He said they actually changed up the way they do practice to try to find a way to get some more juice in this third quarter. We'll see if it happens here.
Well, we asked him, what did you spend the most time on during your bye week? He said the third quarter. Velkamp finds a lane. First down, Florida Atlantic. The bye week paying off. Caden Velkamp, a gain of 20 to ignite the drive to start the third quarter.
And Jay, I guarantee on the Memphis game plan for stopping Caden Velkamp, it didn't say much or anything at all about respecting his running ability. That's been a big factor here tonight. He had the touchdown run on the first drive of the game and starts off that critical third quarter with a big scamper.
Trailing by 1 against a Memphis defense that's only allowed 3 points the entire third quarter this season. The Owls go with some trickery, but to no avail.
I like what they're trying to do here. A little razzle-dazzle here to try to get out of that third quarter funk. Just didn't materialize there.
Can that wear on a team? 3 games into a season, you've been outscored by your opponents 34-0 in the third quarter. You're the only team in the country that hasn't put a point on the board in the third quarter this season.
Yeah, but it's been such a point of emphasis here. They're going to bear down here and see if they can change that trend.
Good opportunity. A pitch running left. Terrell weaving through traffic, diving forward for a gain of 2. And this will set up 3rd and 8. Would not be surprised if this is 4-down territory for the ultra-aggressive Zach Kitley, who's gone for it on 4th down more than 20 times this season. He told us yesterday on a 3rd and 8, he'll tell his quarterback, hey, just get us to 4th and 4 here, and we'll go for it.
Easton Messer slot to the top here. Gotta imagine that's a go-to for Velkamp here.
Velkamp looks that way, throws that way, but it's the other target, and it's a first down FAU. Jay-Sean Platt broke free. It's a gain of 10 to keep the drive alive.
And that was great because the attention, look, everybody closes down on Easton Messer. Okay, right, you see 2 guys there. Amari Wilson, Chris Bracey go his way.
Taking a shot, and it's incomplete. Dom Henry made the catch, but his foot not in bounds when he came down with it. That would have been a spectacular play had it counted.
I mean, that ball was up in the sky a million miles, and a fantastic catch, just fortunately out of bounds there.
You like taking a shot there on
first
and 10?
I like it. Yeah, just keep that defense honest here, especially the way you've been running the ball.
Into Memphis territory, trailing by 1 after a back and forth first half between these 2 teams to start American Conference play. Terrell bottled up. Drew Watts made the stop for Memphis, a loss of 1. 3rd and 11 for an Owls offense that just converted 3rd and 8.
Spreading the field, trying to find that one-on-one matchup you like.
Florida Atlantic 5 of 9 on 3rd down tonight. And a flag flies pre-snap.
False start. Offense, number 73. 5-yard penalty. It's 3rd down.
And these are the things. If you want to start the 3rd quarter hot, you can't have these penalties. It's been the story all year as we've laid out. And now all of a sudden, facing a 3rd and 16.
And it's the combination for as bad as Florida Atlantic has been in the 3rd quarter of the season. Memphis has been that good. And it turned the game around against Arkansas on the win last week of the 3rd quarter. 3rd and 16. Veldkamp checks it down. Out of the backfield, it's Dutton. And he's tangled up and met at the 50. And Florida Atlantic's going to have to punt this ball away.
And you can see why Memphis's defense has been so good in the 3rd quarter. There were 7 white jerseys around the FAU ball carrier there. Those boys are flying around.
Well, we asked defensive coordinator Jordan Hankins, what is it about this group that just finds a different gear in the 2nd half? And he said they're quick learners. They make great adjustments. He only has 1 defensive player that returns from last year, so it's a whole new unit. And he just spoke so highly of the way they're able to learn on the fly, both in practice and in games. A good punt. And Florida Atlantic pins it at the 1-yard line. Almost fell into the end zone there, but you can't do it any better if you're Logan Lupo and the Owls special teams unit back in Memphis to their own 1-yard line. That's where the Tigers will have the ball when we come back. This is the American on ESPN. Florida Atlantic in their third season in the American Conference here in Boca Raton. Home to Florida Atlantic University, who was just ranked in the U.S. News and World Report list of the top public schools for the first time in school history, cracking into the top 100. Good for FAU. Great special teams. They've got the Tigers of Memphis backed up to their own 1-yard line. Good thing for Memphis is you can trust your run game to give you a little breathing room. They've been so effective on the ground this season.
I'll tell you what, if I'm FAU on defense here, I'm selling out, trying to keep Memphis backed up here, force them to punt, and get the ball back in good field position.
Second down, 9.
Well, the last time the Memphis offense was on the field, they had their best drive of the night, going 75 yards in under 2 minutes for a touchdown to take the lead right before halftime. Now they're trying to go 99 yards. Lewis throwing on second down, squeezes it into a tight window. That's a well-thrown ball. Catch made by Jamari Hawkins to set up a 3rd and short.
You said it, partner. What an excellent job. I mean, if you're Lewis, you're backed up in your own end zone. They bring 6. You stand tall in the pocket and deliver an absolute dart. A critical 3rd and 1 here.
Memphis 4 for 7 on 3rd down tonight. Desperate to extend this drive. Duosier in the backfield for the Tigers on the right hip of Lewis. Play clock down to 3 and a timeout taken by Ryan Silverfield.
Timeout, Memphis. 30-second timeout.
You burn an early timeout in this 3rd quarter, but that just shows the importance of this 3rd and 1.
Yeah, this is for both teams here. Again, FAU, they can force a punt. They're going to get the ball back in great field position.
There's the Taco Bell Live Ma student section. Only one student section can claim the title of Live Ma Student Section of the Year. Who will take the trophy home this year? Defending paradise. It is paradise down here.
It is.
Boca Raton. Great football weather on a beautiful night down in South Florida. Final weekend of September. And the home team, Owls, giving undefeated Memphis everything they can handle. Big 3rd and 1 here at the start of the 2nd half.
Watching a quarterback run if I'm FAU's defense.
Hand off to Duosier. It's a foot race. Nobody in front of him. Greg Duosier is gone. 90-yard touchdown.
Touchdown, Memphis.
Greg Duosier with the breakaway speed. And Memphis goes 99 yards in 3 plays. 90 of them belong to the 5th-year senior running back.
What an amazing job. And I don't think he was touched. He runs right in that B gap off to the left side. Malachi Breland, the left guard, the left tackle, Chris Adams.
That is the first 90-yard run at Memphis since 1966, and it belongs to Greg Duosier.
You'll see they pull the guard around, and he goes right up the middle, absolutely untouched. A backbreaker for FAU. Memphis up 24-16.
Memphis an 8-point lead after Greg Duosier takes it 90 yards to the house on a 3rd and 1. Rocky, how did it happen?
Well, FAU is going to stack the box there. They know critically they got to keep them down here, try to get good field position. 10 guys within 10 yards, but watch Matt Adcock, the tight end, pull around, bang, kick out, block, and Duosier goes absolutely untouched. I mean, that kick-out block by Adcock on Najee Barber was absolutely critical to springing.
The safety, Chris Keys, tried to make a touchdown-saving tackle, but Duosier was gone.
And that's the thing, is you pack the box, you get all those guys up near the line of scrimmage. If you can just break through the front line, it's open sailing as Duosier took it to the house.
And we said it a few minutes ago before the break, but 90-yard run. The last time Memphis did that, 1966, and it came at the perfect time for the Tigers on a 3rd and 1 to create some separation. Let's check in with Tori.
Guys, I talked to Duosier's running back room teammate Sutton Smith this week and asked him about Duosier. He said, this guy is a baller. He's like my little brother. I love everything about him. He said he is a big play waiting to happen. There it was.
Sutton Smith and Duosier have been a great dynamic duo, and against Arkansas was Sutton Smith with the 147 yards, and tonight it's Duosier's turn. He's got 159 after that 90-yard touchdown run.
Well, and Tim Krams, the offensive coordinator, told us last night, Jay, yeah, they may have a stable of 5 running backs, but we ride with 5 and 13. Sutton Smith, Greg Duosier are our 2 bell cow guys, and it may be one game at Sutton Smith, the next game Duosier, but either way, it's very effective.
Huge drive here for Florida Atlantic as Memphis is starting to separate, and it's the 3rd quarter that's plaguing the Owls again. The only team in the country that has not scored a point in the 3rd quarter. They're desperate to do so here, but this will be 3rd and long for Caden Veldkamp and Zach Kitley's offense.
I mean, Zach Kitley is looking at that card and trying to find his absolute best play here, because you've got to find a way to get out of this 3rd quarter funk. And you go your first 2 drives without setting up an ability to score, not good.
Memphis sends pressure. Veldkamp hit as he got rid of it. Pass is caught, but well short of the 1st down marker. Asad Wasim was hit right as he caught that ball. Veldkamp, nothing he could do as pressure was bearing down on him, and the Owls are forced to punt it away.
And another good job by Memphis' defense. They bring some pressure, go man-to-man on the back end. And a great tackle by Cruz Law, the linebacker.
Now this Memphis defense just dials up something different after halftime. They're the best second-half defense in the nation. They've only allowed 10 total points on defense in the second half. They haven't allowed a second-half touchdown with their starters in the game. The Tigers trying to return this from inside their own 20. A couple of blocks. Sutton Smith, good return there.
Sutton Smith.
And let's do some random fandom at FAU. Meet Jim Sloviak, FAU's very first football fan and still their most loyal fan 25 years later. He welcomed us into his Boca Raton home where his memorabilia room tells the story of his 2 passions, FAU and his career as a firefighter. Fighting fires is what brought Sloviak to Boca back in 1973, and when the Owls started a football team in 2000, Jim was thinking about retiring, and boom, immediately he was all in on his hometown team. Players and coaches have come and gone in those 25 years, but Jim has been there through it all, home and away. And the best part about Jim Sloviak, the former firefighter, is he is easy to spot. You can't miss him in his custom red FAU Owls fire helmet. There he is.
That's amazing.
1 yard gain on the play.
He's trying to send some positive vibes the way of his Owls here, because this thing is turning fast on him.
The defense delivers there for Sloviak and the Owls faithful. Much needed sack Tyler Stolsky, the middle linebacker, delivers a loss of 6.
And as Lewis got off the turf there, he was signaling to Cortez Braham, the wide receiver, like, hey, we must have been a route he wanted Braham to convert to. Yeah, you can see he looks his way, wasn't there, but a great job getting the quarterback by FAU.
Third and 15. Lewis taking a deep shot, and it falls incomplete. Cortez Braham was the target, defended well by Demarius McGee. And the Florida Atlantic defense with a huge response there.
Absolutely critical response there. Bring some pressure, get the sack, and then great coverage on the back end there by McGee. Zach Kitley knows his defense is going to give his offense great opportunity here. They got to find a way to get some of that momentum going that they had toward the early part of that first half.
They're going to get the ball back. Decent field position here as Messer calls for the fair catch. Well, Jim Sloviak and the Florida Atlantic faithful feeling like they've got a chance here. Midway through the third quarter, still a one-score game. The Owls have the ball back. When we come back, there's the fire helmet, our random fan, Jim Sloviak. Midway through the third quarter, Florida Atlantic trailing undefeated Memphis by 8. If there was ever a time for Zach Kitley and the Owls offense to break out of their third quarter slump, this would be the drive. They've been outscored 41-0 in the third quarter this season. Positive play on first down to try and ignite the drive with Assad Wasim. Gain of 12.
That's great. Any good drive needs a good start here. Pick up the first down.
Now we're seeing the tempo, a pump and go, nobody open. Velkamp just has to throw it away. This is the fastest team in the country coming into this week. 18.5 seconds per play. And Zach Kittley, the youngest head coach in all of college football, leaning on veteran quarterback Caden Velkamp to try and spark this offense out of their third quarter slump.
I have to say, I can't say that Memphis's defense has been affected by the up-tempos so far.
Play action. Velkamp going for it all. Home run ball. It's caught. Easton Messer right on the money by Velkamp. And FAU is in the red zone. Gain of 50.
And Messer came open very early. I'm thinking to myself, throw the ball, throw the look. He's wide open. But Velkamp has to crow hop into that thing a little bit to get it down the field. But that is the big play this offense has been missing. It came at the right time.
1st and 10 after the gain of 50. They go to the ground game, defended well by Memphis. You know, Messer, the top target all season long. He has been targeted 49 times this season. The two that came over together from Western Kentucky. They actually played in the Boca Raton Bowl with Western Kentucky. Lost to James Madison. Did not fly back with the Hilltoppers. Stayed for an official visit. Committed. They've been in Boca ever since.
Welcome to the modern world of college football.
Velkamp trying to punch it in. Throws a line drive, and it's caught by Platt. Sets up a 3rd and manageable after the gain of 6.
Great throw there by Velkamp. Like the way he's seeing the field right now, in good command.
Have to imagine this is 4-down territory. Velkamp throws incomplete. Tried to squeeze it into Xavier Terrell. And now what do you do here on 4th and 5? Do you take the points?
It looks like they're gonna, you can see Zach Kittley's mad about it, but he's gonna go ahead and take the points here.
They're 2 for 2 on 4th down tonight, but Kittley is sending the field goal unit out.
I think psychologically it's important. You've never scored in the third quarter all year, so at least get some points. I think that helps your football team moving forward.
Now, there was a missed extra point earlier in this game on a bobbled hold. That hold is down, it's good. And Garrison Smith swings his leg through it for an easy 3. So Florida Atlantic no longer scoreless in the third quarter, but still trailing by 5 after Memphis holds them for the field goal.
That's an amazing stat. Got to feel good to get that monkey off your back. But Zach Kittley is still upset. They were not able to find a way to get in the end zone on that drive.
Let's check in down on the sideline with Tori.
Yeah, you guys were talking about that Boca Raton Bowl last year where the quarterback and wide receiver stayed behind to visit with Zach Kittley. They told me they got about 2 hours of sleep after that game, and they showed up bright and early back at this facility. Those two are best friends. They wanted to keep playing together, and they were both looking for the same things, and they felt like they found it here at FAU.
I can't blame them. After a couple of days down here in Boca, I don't want to leave. Yeah. We gotta talk to our bosses. We gotta get back here for the Boca Raton Bowl. That sounds like a good time.
I think we just did.
Western Kentucky took Florida Atlantic, all because they believe in their head coach, Zach Kittley. And this team against undefeated Memphis is giving the Tigers everything they can handle. And there's a self-inflicted wound. These are the things that have killed the Owls through 3 games this season.
Free kick out of bounds. Kicking team. The ball will be placed at 35. First down.
That'll give good starting field position to Memphis, leading by 5. As we take a look at this week's college football rankings, brought to you by Prudential. So Ohio State will likely stay #1 after taking care of Washington on the road. I mean, you better flip over if you're watching Penn State, Oregon. We actually got some points in our game.
We got an exciting game going on here. Snoozer, Penn State and Oregon.
Yeah. We've got a great one in Boca. You know, Memphis, the team, if you ask college football fans, who would be the group of 5 team headed in to week 5 to represent in the college football playoff? Memphis would be the most likely answer. Sutton Smith, who's been quiet so far tonight, explodes there on first down. A big gain of 17.
And I think this is where you watch out for Sutton Smith, who's been a little bit quiet so far, not used as much. Now here we are in the third quarter. He's got fresh legs. What a great vision that Sutton Smith has on that play. A little jump cut, the outside. Again, he's got a lot of tread left on those tires here tonight. He could really get going. FAU better watch out.
Yeah, only his 3rd carry, just had 4 yards to his name before that gain of 17. Keep it on the ground. Memphis is now over 200 rushing yards for a 5th straight game.
Tackled by Josh Roberts.
The game plan for Ryan Silverfield all focuses around being able to run the football successfully, and they have done so tonight. So consistent in the run game, Rocky. How are they able to do it?
It's their scheme, their system, their commitment to it. They are totally committed to the run game. They never waver and go away from it. And again, just such a good job with the pre-snap movement and then finding ways to get their running backs in open gaps.
Lewis looking to throw the ball, taking a shot deep downfield, and it's knocked away, incomplete. That was inches away from a Cortez Braham touchdown, and instead it was knocked out of the sky by Derek Rogers.
And young corners at home, pay attention to this. When you're a corner and you're beat, don't turn your head around. Just run to the wide receiver, catch up the ground, and put your hand up at the right time, knocking that ball out. That is textbook teach tape on how to play cornerback. If a guy gets a step on you, what an excellent job there by Derek Rogers.
Rogers letting everybody know it too, ahead of this 3rd and 7. DeWosier is in the backfield with Lewis. The last 3rd down run he had, he took to the house. Instead, Lewis looking to throw. Pressure comes, gets rid of it just in time. Pass is caught, but short of the first down marker. Bussey made the catch, but 4th and 1 here, you're probably going to go for it, right?
I think you're going for it if you're Ryan Silverfield. You've got confidence in your run game. It looks like they're bringing a couple more tight ends back on the field. I see Matt Adcock, who supplied the critical block on that long DeWosier run.
The Tigers have been getting a good push in short yardage scenarios all night. Can they get one here on a 4th and 1?
There's Adcock at fullback here.
Lewis goes under center. Hands it off. First down, Memphis. That run game is so reliable for this Tigers offense. They keep the drive alive on a gain of 3.
Yeah, that was a statement drive. You bring the fullback in the backfield and you basically say, we're running the ball, here's where we're running it, you go ahead and stop it. FAU was not able to.
And that's why. When you have a run game that continually produces more than 200 yards every game this season, why would you go away from the ground game? This time it's a quarterback keeper with Lewis. Not much running room there. DeWosier, by the way, a new career high, 163 yards rushing tonight out of the 230 total for the Tigers. CJ Doggett stuff in the hole.
Seen quite as many design quarterback runs from Brendan Lewis since he went out of the game for a few plays. Had to get checked out in the injury tent in the first half.
And that injury that he was in the tent for was to his throwing shoulder, so you didn't know what availability he would have, but he's looked good since coming back into the game. Pressure comes. Lewis delivers, floating it up, and draws the pass interference. Nothing Therese Reed could do in coverage as Lewis lofted that ball up to Braham.
Pass interference. Defense, number 27, 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
It's the same thing. He tries to get his head turned back around, but he just creates contact too soon before that head gets around. And I mean, it's such a tough play as you're trying to catch up with the ball's a little bit underthrown. It forces you to run into the wide receiver. That's tough.
That ball being underthrown actually panned out for Memphis because of the pass interference on Reed. Knocking on the door of the red zone from the 21, leading by 5. Here's Sutton Smith, blown up in the backfield.
Sutton Smith, the ball carrier.
Najon Barber, the 5th-year senior defensive tackle, swallowing up Smith for a loss of 2.
I tell you what, Barber with some fancy footwork down there on the inside. Little jump cut himself. Comes to the right, makes a great tackle on the ball carrier.
Florida Atlantic desperate to keep Memphis out of the end zone here as the 3rd quarter ticks down. About 20 seconds remaining in it.
It's like man coverage on the outside. See if they bring pressure.
Lewis looks that way, in trouble, decides to tuck and run. Lewis tangled up and taken down. It's a gain of 5 to set up 3rd and 7 at the start of this 4th quarter. Florida Atlantic has stayed within touching distance of undefeated Memphis. A big 3rd down to start the 4th when we come back. FAU first-year head coach Zach Kitley, youngest head coach in college football, firing his team up. They've made it a fourth quarter game against undefeated Memphis. We start the fourth. Tigers in front by 5 at a big third down here for the Memphis offense. Brendan Lewis, a 3rd and 7 inside the red zone.
Same thing, looks like man coverage on the outside.
Lewis floats it to the end zone. Jump ball. It's caught. Touchdown, Memphis. Cortez Braham won the jump ball, and the Tigers strike for a touchdown to start the fourth quarter.
To Cortez Braham.
There was man coverage. He looks to the outside. He likes the matchup. Cortez Braham on Therese Reed. Ball perfectly thrown, back shoulder throw. I mean, you can't cover it much better if you're Reed, but a perfect throw, great body adjustment by Braham.
Lewis connects with Braham, the 2 players that came over from Nevada in the transfer portal. And that is a statement to start the fourth quarter by Brendan Lewis, Cortez Braham, and this Memphis offense.
Tap in the head, that means head top. He liked it, what he had the matchup, and he gets the protection just enough that he needs, and then again, perfect back shoulder away from the defender. Just a killer for FAU.
That ball could not have been put any better for Braham to jump up and get it. And a Memphis offense that is dominated in the running game with 233 yards goes to the air on a critical 3rd down in the red zone, and Ryan Silverfield's team cashes in.
And he goes to his buddy Cortez Braham, who spent some time with him at Nevada, so they've got a lot of reps in over the years. Probably practiced that play a bunch, and it came up big right there.
How good has Memphis been in the red zone this season? 16 trips, 14 touchdowns, 2 field goals, and a big one there to separate 31-19 as we check in to the studio with Kevin Connors.
First down and 10 for Florida Atlantic on the Owls' 25-yard line.
Yeah, what do you do there, Rock, when you're going up against a player like Proctor?
All I can say is I'm glad I'm up in the booth at this point in my life. I'm covering him. What an amazing play.
Well, you were saying that in your NFL career, Marshawn Lynch was the toughest guy to tackle. Proctor's got an extra 200 pounds on him.
Easily.
FAU trying to ignite this offense, trailing 31-19.
To Easton Messer for an Owls.
Well, Rocky, for those who don't know, spent 8 years in the NFL, 4 of them with the Tennessee Titans, playing linebacker.
Yeah, look at that club on the left hand there. We pulled that picture because Tyler Stolsky, the Florida Atlantic middle linebacker, is playing with a cast on his hand. I can tell you from experience, that is absolutely no fun, playing with one hand out there.
FAU trying to come back in this fourth quarter. Velkamp just checks it down. That's Terrell out of the flat. Now, Owls offense coming into tonight averaged 85 plays per game. That was just their 56th, so well below their normal pace. And still within striking distance, they need to find points on this drive.
Yeah, and that's the thing. You can't focus on what happened. You can only focus on what we got to do to sustain a drive moving forward here.
Some trickery. Velkamp bobbled it and couldn't get away cleanly. That was William Whitlow Jr., who was not fooled and hit Velkamp as he threw it.
And those are always hard because you're talking about not 1, not 2, but 3, exchanges of possession. 1, 2, 3, and it just the timing doesn't work out. And then you got a rusher right in your face. It's the reason why Memphis just runs the ball, because, you know, you just stay with it, you stay consistent, no razzle-dazzle.
It seemed like in the 4x100, you're bobbling the baton, and Veldkamp trying to recover on this 3rd and 9 and fails to connect with Quincy Brown.
Not sure if he was looking for Brown or Jay-Sean Platt was coming over the middle as well.
So this brings up 4th and 9, and Zach Kitley's going to leave his offense on the field for a 4th and 9 from their own 46-yard line.
And this is everything right here.
This is quite the gamble. Trailing by 12, trying to keep the drive alive. 4th and 9, Veldkamp throwing the deep ball, and it falls incomplete. Turnover on downs. Memphis gets it in FAU territory.
I just feel like on a critical 4th and long, I mean, the biggest play of the game, there's not a route combination, a way you can rub a guy off and get him open. We just throw a streak down the sideline. Didn't love it, but Memphis is going to get the ball back here, up 31-19.
We've got more good football coming next week in the state of Florida. Florida State taking on Miami, 7:30 Eastern on ABC. And Brendan Lewis flushed to his right, just throws it out of bounds. Seminoles likely falling out of the top 10 with the loss to Virginia on Friday, but if Florida State can respond and beat Miami, everyone's going to forget about that loss to Virginia. Obviously, Seminoles head coach Mike Norvell, Memphis head coach before he took the job in Tallahassee. Ryan Silverfield was Norvell's assistant head coach before moving into the top job, which he has been in since the 2019 Cotton Bowl.
Yeah, you're talking about a guy who's really stayed loyal to a program. Been here since 2016. Love being at Memphis.
And this is by far his most impressive head coaching job this season, because they lost everybody last year. I mean, everybody. They had 72 new players, only 2 returning starters on offense, just 1 defensive player who even played a snap last season, and they have reloaded.
And I asked him yesterday in the meeting, when you're bringing in so many new guys, what's the criteria? What's the thing you're looking for to make sure you're bringing in the right guys? He said, the #1 thing is find guys that love football. Not what football brings them, but just love the game of football. He's got a bunch of them here at Memphis.
Now, Brendan Lewis is one of them, 5th-year senior quarterback on a 3rd and 7. Didn't see the pressure coming. Ball's free, scooped up. Taken down inside the 20. It was Leon Hart Jr. who shot in and punched it free. And Lewis is banged up after fumbling the football. Kamari Johnson recovered it and took it to the 19-yard line.
This is the big play that FAU has needed all game long. What a great stunt. Run right there by Leon Hart. Scoop.
And what a moment for Johnson, who picked it up after Hart's heroics there. Johnson is a Memphis native, went to Memphis Central High School, and just made a big play against his hometown Tigers. What a shot in the arm for Florida Atlantic. They take over in the red zone. Throwing on 1st down. It's caught near the 10-yard line by Platt. Gain of 8. The Owls are right back in this game after the Brendan Lewis fumble.
And he's visibly in some pain, Jay. Looks like he was holding his back as he went off the field.
What a swing of momentum at the beginning of this 4th quarter. Now can the Owls cash in for a touchdown? Veldkamp overthrew Easton Messer, looking for his top target in the end zone.
Great job by DeMarco Ward. He knows the direction that Veldkamp is going to look in these critical situations. He's going to try to find number 8, and he had great coverage on it.
Florida Atlantic just 5 of 14 on 3rd down tonight. They have missed their last 4. Can they convert here in the red zone? Veldkamp, designed run, falling forward, gets the 1st down. Needed 2, got 3. Hard run by Veldkamp, who's slow to get up.
Yeah, he's clutching his right arm.
DeMarco Ward fell on him.
He takes a shot here at the end, lands right on that right shoulder. All of his entire body weight, plus the body weight, I think, of Ward there coming down on that right arm.
Stays in the game, though, for a 1st and goal. Trying to cash in on the fumble recovery. They go to the ground with Dutton. Gain of 2. And this is no doubt about it, 4-down territory for an ultra-aggressive Florida Atlantic offense. Veldkamp trying to battle through it.
And FAU, Jay, gets the thing they've not been able to get much all year, a takeaway. Only had 1 coming into this game, but they get a critical one right there in the 4th quarter, setting up this potential touchdown drive.
Yeah, their turnover margin coming into the night, -8, worst in all of college football, but they get the turnover, and now they get the touchdown. Xavier Terrell cashes in on the takeaway. And Florida Atlantic is right back in it here at home against undefeated Memphis.
Look at this, make sure he got in. That's going to be close.
It was ruled on the field a touchdown.
An expedited review has the runner down at the half-yard line. It will be 3rd down.
I think that's the right call here. It looked like he was short. That thigh comes down easily before the ball breaks the plane.
And Florida Atlantic has struggled in short yardage situations.
Right, because they're just not a team that's built to go duo and go double team guys and knock them off the ball. It's not how they're built. They're built to sling the ball around the yard.
And their quarterback, Caden Veldkamp, battling through a big hit he absorbed by DeMarco Ward. Just trying to gut it out and finish this drive in the end zone. Xavier Terrell, who thought he scored a moment ago, stays in the game in the backfield behind Veldkamp. Terrell gets the carry, trying to plow his way in, and this time the touchdown will stand. Terrell left no doubt on a hard, punishing run. And the Owls make it a 6-point game in the fourth quarter. All set up by the fumble caused by Leon Hart Jr. and Kamari Johnson, running it back to the 19-yard line, which made it a short field for this Florida Atlantic offense to cash in on. Extra points through. We've got a 5-point game in Boca.
You got to be extremely pleased if you're Zach Kitley with how your team has fought back. They get the critical strip, and not just that, they turn it into points. Terrell punches it in the end zone. We got a ball game here in Boca.
ESPN College Football Primetime is presented by Geico Switch and Save. Get more with Geico. And in part by Freestyle Libre.
Well, the Memphis lead has been cut down to 5. Caden Veldkamp gutting out the rest of that touchdown drive for FAU, but Torrey clearly shaken up on that drive.
Tent right now, and he has been for a little bit. We just saw his jersey and pads hit the ground just underneath the injury tent, so they are working on him in there. Trainer came out, asked for some gauze, went back in. They're definitely working on him.
And there's the backup, Zach Gibson, warming up as the FAU defense is ready to take the field and at least keep this deficit at 5. It was the defense that even put the Owls in this situation, causing the fumble to make it a 5-point game. Let's check in with the studio. Wow, Trevor Maddich saying 10 might be enough in Happy Valley whiteout game.
13 points.
We've got a lot more points here in Boca. It's been a shootout in an American Conference clash. First conference game for both of these teams. Memphis trying to stay unbeaten. FAU trying to earn a statement win for their first-year head coach. They have battled tough throughout. Question is, Rocky, can they finally get a stop or an answer against this Memphis run game that has gashed them for 226 rushing yards tonight?
They definitely got a shot in the arm by causing that big turnover. Maybe they can build off that thing.
Second and 8. Lewis throws over the middle. It's caught. Cortez Braham, and he's gone. Touchdown, Memphis. 73-yard strike.
Brendan Lewis.
Lewis went right back to his top target, Braham, and it's a 73-yard touchdown, an immediate answer. What a response by Ryan Silverfield's team to make it a 2-possession game again.
And they brought some pressure. Safety blitz. Dylan Williams comes off the offense's left side. That means there's nobody back deep. And a great throw. Cortez Braham, his right-hand man, and just absolutely silences this crowd.
Here we are talking about how good the Memphis run game has been tonight, thinking they're going to keep it on the ground where they have been most effective, and Lewis hits Braham for a 73-yard touchdown through the air.
And what a great job. I mean, to your point, I think if you're FAU, you're thinking they're going to go and they're going to run the ball here, run the ball, and they come out with the pass. And look, you'll see at the bottom, it's one-on-one coverage and a great job of a release on the slant route. Good ball placement up high where only Cortez Braham can get it. And again, there's no safety back there to stop him once he breaks loose. It's just an excellent job of Braham running a great route. He stems the defensive back, gets him to turn his hips. Left foot goes in the ground. Slant, ball's in a perfect place. That's how you draw it up.
And this seems to be the hallmark of this season's Memphis team. If their opponent punches them, they're just going to punch right back.
Yeah, and they've done it consistently over the years. So they're not in a position where, you know, they haven't been before.
Jay-Sean Platt going to return this from his own 5-yard line. Hit just past the 20, where the FAU offense will take over, trailing by 12. Let's take a look at the college football headlines presented by Harbor Freight. In the American, I think when you look at the group of 5, the American has clearly separated themselves throughout non-conference play. So whoever wins the American, I think they're going to the college football playoff. North Texas is in the conversation, Navy in the conversation, Tulane very much in the conversation. Of course, this Memphis team likely the leaders in the clubhouse as we sit here in week 5.
Yeah, especially with that big win over Arkansas last week, and here we are, Veldkamp back in the game.
But technically never left it. He did go into the injury tent, but he did gut out that previous drive as we get an update from Tori.
Yeah, guys, he came out just before this drive started. He basically ran almost straight from the injury tent onto the field. He threw the ball about twice on the sideline, ran up to Coach Kitley, and he was back on the field.
He's a gamer.
Yeah,
we've been working together too long.
We choreographed that.
Second and 10 for Veldkamp, who's done a good job protecting the ball tonight. He came into the game with 7 interceptions. There's a drop by Platt. His wide receivers aren't helping him on this drive. 2 drops.
You know, when you got a new team, a new coaching staff, so many new players, it's just these little mistakes just keep stopping this offense.
When you battle back and cut it to 5, and then the 73-yard touchdown, doesn't that just take a little wind out of everybody's sails?
Yeah,
if you're
especially because of how quickly it happens. I've been there before. You're the defense, you cause a turnover, you get the ball back, you score, and all right, boys, here we go, and then boom, 75 yards, total gut punch.
3rd and long. Veldkamp trying to pick it up with his feet. There's a flag in the backfield. As it stands, Veldkamp got 9, but we'll wait for the penalty. This is going against the Owls, and it's a backbreaker.
Holding. Offense, number 73. 10-yard penalty. It's 3rd down.
Untimely penalty there.
Yeah, Akovich, the right guard there. It's just a great inside move there by William Whitlow. And it forces the hold.
So now you got 3rd and Deerfield Beach to go. Got to get the ball to the 31-yard line to keep this drive alive. Veldkamp surveys, throws, and even though he connects with Platt, well short of the sticks.
At least you pick up about, what, 9 there. You know he's going for it on 4th down, makes it a little more manageable. 4th and 7.
You're going to go for it from your own 24? There's still 8 minutes and 40 seconds left. You pump this ball away. Very risky move.
But they're a team, they go for it. It's what they're built on. You got to go with how you're built.
Zach Kitley, the head coach, that's his personality, ultra aggressive. Certainly doing that, going for it on their own 24-yard line. Veldkamp, empty set, tosses it, and it falls incomplete. And the Tigers defense delivers again. Kamari Wilson knocked it away from Easton Messer. And Memphis takes over at the Owls 24 with an opportunity to put this game away.
Yeah, critical moment. Kamari Wilson knew exactly where that ball was going. It was going the way of Easton Messer, and he sat on the route and made a great break on the ball. You can see his great job, just eyes on the quarterback. He feels where Messer is, but his eyes are, and then boom, foot in the ground break as soon as he unleashes that football.
And I totally respect the fact that Zach Kitley is the ultra-aggressive young head coach. I just think the risk reward there is not worth it when you give the ball back to Memphis.
I don't disagree with you, but again, just, you know, if you look at how they're built, how they go about things, but again, I don't disagree with you. That's tough to not give the ball back to Memphis.
I mean, if there's 4 minutes left in the game, I agree with it, but there's more than 8 minutes left in the game as Sutton Smith carries it for a gain of 1. You got all 3 timeouts, more than 8 minutes to go, and that turnover on downs gives Memphis an opportunity to put this game away. WNBA playoffs continue with Aces Fever 3 Eastern on ABC and Lynx Mercury at 8 Eastern on ESPN. Coverage begins 2:30 Eastern on ABC with the WNBA countdown crew as the semifinals reach a fever pitch.
I just wonder if Zach Kitley knows that his guys are just running out of gas at this point. That might have been another factor.
Lewis took it himself, rumbles all the way for a 1st down. He is such a fearless runner. Big play runner, Brendan Lewis, who continues to deliver.
And he's been banged up a couple times in this game. He had the right shoulder, and then we saw him on the bench, you know, holding his back, and he just continues to shake it off and get back in the game.
In the largest moments, it feels like Lewis really relies on his legs. And did so there to set up a 1st and 10 inside the red zone, where Memphis is perfect on the season. 16 trips, 14 touchdowns, 2 field goals. Keep it on the ground. And the Tigers probably have one eye on the clock here, Rocky. Just try and bleed it out against a quick strike FAU offense. Keep it away from the Owls. Just let this clock tick down.
Yeah, especially as you hear deep in the fourth quarter, Memphis, you've been here a million times. You've got a great offensive line. You've been leaning on this FAU defensive line. I think it's played a heck of a ball game. But just, you know, those body blows over and over and over, and those guys leaning on you here, they're going to slow that thing down, keep Veldkamp on the sideline, and just try to keep running this thing.
Duosier, who earlier went for a 90-yard touchdown run, only goes for 2 there. There's an injured FAU defensive lineman after that run by Duosier. Bench Marcellin down for FAU as we remind you how Memphis broke this game open in the second half.
As Greg Duosier, 90-yard touchdown run. And then here it is, you know, FAU, they score, they're getting some momentum back in this game, and a great throw and catch from Lewis to Cortez Graham takes it the distance. Just a backbreaker for FAU.
And just those 2 touchdowns alone produced 163 of Memphis's 436 total yards. They're talking to Ryan Silverfield yesterday, just so impressed with their game plan against Arkansas. You know, everyone knows the Hogs offense is lethal. Didn't really show up against their game against Notre Dame earlier today, but the way Memphis controlled the time of possession and dominated that game, and he said, look, I'll take an explosive. I'll take a touchdown.
Yeah, I'll take them.
But we are very comfortable grinding a team down.
I mean, last year, Jay, you know, they were number 3 in the country in time of possession. They love these just slow, leading drives over and over and over.
And you contrast that with FAU, who hasn't huddled all night. We tick near 5 minutes remaining in this fourth quarter. Memphis looking for more separation. Duosier battling through. Timeout taken by FAU to preserve some of this clock.
First charge timeout, Florida Atlantic. Media timeout.
We'll step aside as well. Memphis leading by 12 with under 5 to play. Memphis in the driver's seat of this fourth quarter, a 12-point lead, under 5 minutes to play. First American Conference game for both of these teams, and the Tigers with a fourth down decision inside the red zone, going to go for the 25-yard field goal attempt. Now, this only makes it a 15-point lead, which is still a two-possession
game. And I mean, this really plays in the hands of FAU because they're an outfit that scores quickly. Go with that tempo, so it's still a shot here for FAU.
Well, the MLB postseason is almost here. It begins Tuesday, and once again, ESPN has every game of the best-of-3 wild card round. Games on ESPN, ESPN2, ABC, ESPN Deportes, ESPN Radio, and of course, the all-new ESPN app. Now, Rocky, you're a Cincinnati Reds fan.
Yes.
I'm a New York Mets fan. Tomorrow, it comes down to one of our teams making it and one of our teams missing out.
I'll remind you that the Reds have the tiebreaker over the Mets, so should they both win, the Reds go.
No. If both teams win tomorrow, the Reds go.
That's what I said. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I thought you meant the Reds go home. No, they go to the playoffs.
They have the tiebreaker over the Mets, so.
Yeah. You know what? I hope the Cincinnati Reds do it for you, because that fan base has been hurt for a long time. Joe Burrow's done.
It's been rough for many, many years in Cincinnati.
And if you're an FAU fan that doubles as a Miami Marlin fan, they're looking to play spoiler against the Mets tomorrow night. And we were talking about that as we got a loose shoe down on the field. You know, Rocky, you were saying that sometimes you'd be eliminated from postseason play, but there's something about just knocking out a rival that makes it extra special.
Oh, yeah. I mean, there's nothing like that. There's great division games.
So Florida Atlantic, most teams that are down by 15 with under 5 minutes to go wouldn't have a prayer, but because they're so fast-paced and can score quickly, now they're still in this game with 2 timeouts, but you gotta score a touchdown here, and you probably have to do it before the 2-minute timeout.
Yeah, I think at some point here, you gotta take a shot.
A check down won't help Veldkamp and the Owls offense to the reliable Easton Messer, but valuable time continues to tick away ahead of this third down. I'm with you, Rocky. I think you need something downfield. Instead, another short yardage completion, and it's fourth down for FAU. You know Zach Kitley's going for it.
Yeah, that's a no doubter there.
Went for it on a 4th and 8 from his own 24, so definitely leaving the offense on a 4th and 2 from the 30. First down, Owls. They keep the game alive. Big time throw by Veldkamp to pick out Platt on a gain of 13.
Yeah, Jay-Sean Platt just pulls up right over top of Veldkamp.
Quick snap on first down, Veldkamp. Again, the safest option, Terrell, who absorbed a big hit after he caught it.
And a good decision by Veldkamp there. They wanted to take the shot right there, but it was well covered, so he takes the check down underneath.
Moving the ball well, and most importantly, quickly. Trying to thread the needle there, and Jabari Smith didn't have a chance. It was deflected en route to the redshirt sophomore wide receiver.
Russo did a great job of getting his left hand up and knocking that ball down, because it looked like it was going to be a great throw right in the middle of 3 Memphis Tigers. Russo got that left ball up and knocked it down.
48 pass attempts for Caden Veldkamp, and a few more coming. 3rd and 5. Quick hitter, that falls incomplete. A misfire there. And that brings up 4th down.
It was a great job by Amarian Cooper on the outside there. He sensed that little flat little screen pass, and he attacked it right now. Forced not only some bad blocks, but also a bad throw.
Once again, the game on the line on 4th down. The Owls completed their last Fourth down on this possession, 3 for 5 on the night. Velkamp. Miscommunication there. He hit Caden Shields-Dutton right in the backside, and that's a turnover on downs.
And that's unfortunate that it's mesh rail. They're running a crossing route over the shallow middle at about 5 yards and running the running back on what they call a rail route. He just didn't have his head around to get the ball. Look, they got exactly what they want. He's got a running back on a linebacker and a lot of space. You just got to get your head around if you're Dutton. Caden Velkamp saying, oh my gosh, we had it. Exactly what they wanted.
A frustrating fourth quarter for an FAU team that was in this game with undefeated Memphis until the fourth, where the Tigers have outscored them 17-7. This was a 1-point game at halftime. The Tigers have really separated themselves down the stretch. Big hole opens up. The Memphis run game continues to be the star of the show. Greg Duosier adds 29 more to what was already a career-high rushing for him. There's a late flag thrown.
And what I talked about at the beginning of the game, Jay, the creating new gaps. We saw it right there, and it just needs a little bit of time, a little bit of hesitation from the defense, and it's gone.
Personal foul. Hands to the face. Defense, number 5. Half the distance to the goal. First down. The foul caused the helmet to come off from number 78. He may remain in the game.
So after the penalty, this ball was marked inside the 10-yard line. First and goal, Memphis. Greg Duosier, 200 yards, 90 of them coming on that one run, longest run since 1966 by a Memphis Tiger.
And if you're Tim Krams, the OC, you gotta love this. So last week it was Sutton Smith. He had 147 on the ground. Today it's his other bell cow, Greg Duosier, with a huge game.
They go right back to Duosier. Why not? The flags fly. That's just some frustration
that's
pouring out. The DC sledge.
Yeah.
After the play, personal foul. Defense, number 62. Half the distance to the goal. First down.
Let's check in with the studio with Kevin Connors.
After the play, unsportsmanlike conduct. Defense, number 6. It is a flagrant foul. Number 6 has been ejected.
Yeah, that'll wake up the whiteout after a sleepy first half in Happy Valley. We've had an offensive explosion since kickoff. These teams both scored on their opening drive, and the scoring has not stopped. And Memphis with an opportunity to punch in another touchdown. Now, before we toss to the studio, Leon Hart Jr. was ejected from the game because of the previous play, unsportsmanlike conduct.
It's just how quickly things can change. Not that long ago, this was a 5-point ball game, and FAU's in it. But you got to give credit to Memphis. They just answer. That's what good teams do. Other teams are going to make plays. They're going to get some momentum, but can you shut that down and keep playing your game? Memphis does just that.
And the Tigers finish FAU off with another Greg Duosier touchdown. He's the first Tiger to go over 200 yards since Kenneth Gainwell did it in 2019. He's got 3 touchdowns to go along with it. What a night for Duosier and this Memphis team on the road.
That's some great company. Kenneth Gainwell, one of the great ones around here.
You said it earlier. This is running back university under Ryan Silverfield, who was part of the staff that kind of got it started with Mike Norvell. And if you're a running back, you want to play for this Memphis offense, no doubt about it.
Yeah, you want to play for Ryan Silverfield and Tim Cramsey because of their commitment to the run game. They know how to create explosive plays. They know how to create grinding, wear you down plays. It's really impressive.
Next week, we've got 2 Monday Night Football matchups for you. ESPN and ESPN Deportes. Jets and Dolphins get things started on ESPN at 7. And then on ABC, 8 Eastern, it's the Bengals and the Broncos. 2 nights from now, Monday Night Football. We got 2 of it for you. And how about Trey Hendrickson? Now, Rocky, you live in Cincinnati, former FAU Owl, who's carved out a fantastic career for himself with the Bengals.
I've said it, and I don't think there's any denying it. He is the greatest free agent acquisition in Bengals history. He came over from the Saints, and he has just done nothing but put up huge numbers season after season.
And there's no argument he's the greatest player to ever put on an FAU uniform in their 25-year history.
He just needs some help in Cincinnati.
Assad Wasim on the return out of his own end zone. Ball's loose, and Memphis falls on it at the 15. It's going to be Tigers football as the miscues continue to pile up on FAU in this 4th quarter.
Ryan Silverfield with a huge smile on his face. Again, this was a 5-point ball game not long ago, and then just Memphis has absolutely imposed their will on FAU ever since.
Ball free, Jaden Flaker fell on it, and Memphis takes over. You gotta give a ton of credit to undefeated Memphis for this fourth quarter, outscoring FAU 24-7. After the Owls had cut it to 5, 31-26, the Tigers have scored 17 unanswered, and they get a special teams fumble to take over at the 15-yard line. If you're looking for Idaho, Montana, the nightcap on ESPN2. Two top 10 FCS programs. That game is started on the ESPN app, and we will get you out west as soon as we are done in Boca. How about Boca to Missoula? 2,800 miles between those two locations, and we'll get you there in a second.
And again, give Memphis a lot of credit. This was, you know, you're coming in on the road, coming off a big win. Are you going to be flat? You're coming to FAU. You know, he's coming off a bye, and they have time in that bye to try a bunch of different things. A lot of fear of the unknown, and they absolutely came in here and took care of business.
And Ryan Silverfield dials up another touchdown. Brendan Lewis untouched into the end zone. There is a flag down.
There is a flag on the play.
Waiting to see if the penalty negates the touchdown for Brendan Lewis.
Personal foul. Hands to the face. Defense, number 7. The 15-yard penalty will be assessed on the kickoff. It's a touchdown.
So the touchdown stands for Brendan Lewis, and Memphis goes over 50 on the night. You know, marks 45 straight games that they've scored more than 20, and now they've broken more than 50. Wow.
Well, it was just a naked bootleg, and all 11 red jerseys flow one way, and Lewis takes it out the backside.
And before the Lewis touchdown, I was about to say, Silverfield told us, look, when you come off a big win, we've done it before, where you win a huge game against a Power 4 team, and then the next week you lay an egg.
Right.
And he has to be happy with how they've played, particularly in the second half.
And let's go back to what Torrey reported and what, you know, Silverfield told us in the meeting yesterday about how he absolutely wasn't going to let that happen. I mean, he was out on Monday, walking around the parking lot, making sure guys parked in the right parking space. I mean, accountability. He was not going to allow this team to let their foot off the gas one bit. And so I give a lot of credit to that mentality, and keeping his players in the right headspace goes to him.
And it all starts on the ground, 291 yards rushing, 5 touchdowns. And you're right, Rocky. You know, Silverfield said, you would have thought we lost by 30. I woke up last Sunday upset.
Yeah.
And I said, upset? You just beat an SEC team? Could very well be the best win that he has as a head coach.
But you're talking about a guy, Jay, in the meeting last night, he told us during the season, you know, no alcohol, he doesn't eat sugar. I mean, this dude is absolutely laser focused in getting his team ready to go, because I believe he thinks they have something special they can do this year.
They certainly have proven that in this second half. You take a look at the wins he's got against Power 4 schools. The Arkansas game, no surprise if you've been following this Memphis program closely. The Mississippi State, and then Iowa State in the Liberty Bowl, Florida State in West Virginia a year ago, and then Arkansas last week. And now the schedule sets up for Memphis, where if they take care of business, they will go to the college football playoff as the group of 5 automatic bid. Their 2 toughest games on paper are against South Florida and Tulane, and both of those games come at home for this Tigers program.
Critical.
And now they've shown they can go on the road after one of those big Power 4 wins and take care of business, outscoring FAU 31-7 in this fourth quarter. And for Zach Kitley, your program fought so hard for you, coming off the bye for 3 quarters and just let it get away from you. The miscues piled up, and Memphis capitalized.
for Zach Kitley. You know, first year as a head coach, young guy, and some things I'm sure he'll learn and take away from this game as they try to dust themselves off. And they got Rice next week, tough opponent. They run that option stuff, so that won't be an easy one.
That'll be Owls against Owls in a mascot battle. Memphis moves on to host Tulsa. 5-0 for the first time since 2019. They take care of business on the road and win it 55-26. What a start to the season for Ryan Silverfield and this Memphis program. They left no doubt in this fourth quarter, putting up 31 points in the final frame. Coming up next, we'll send you out west, 2,800 miles away, for Idaho and Montana. For our terrific crew behind the scenes, Rocky Boyman, Dory Petrie, I'm Jay Alder saying so long from Boca, Memphis, the big winners.
So what did it take to get it done against FAU?